He's one of the best of all time. You know, made a couple great audibles, made a couple great throws. Tough as hell. I mean, we hit him a few times. It didn't bother him one bit.
That's John Gruden talking about the guy he wishes was on his team, Aaron Rodgers.
I know he has high praise for him. We've talked about him before. I mean, I know he looks at him as being the greatest or one of the greatest of all time. So
and I could just imagine that John Gruden in his own unique way had to be like that.
Rodgers guy. Yeah.
Well, we've already praised Aaron Rodgers. He'd be one of the superlatives for today if we hadn't spent most of the first segment talking about him. But this is where we go over the other superlatives, the awards we want to hand out. I'll let you go first, Chris.
Okay, the first one, I'm going to Chicago with the Florida D. Yeah, you like that? The Saints, yes. It's not about their offense anymore. It's about their defense right now. And
who's their coordinator?
Dennis Allen. Thank you. I messed that up on the show last night so everybody can understand what he's joking, making fun of me. I was like Josh Allen, Jeff Allen. I was saying all these Allen's names in my head. I couldn't come up with Dennis. But either way, I think the big thing is from this game, I mean, the New Orleans Saints are just such a good, well-rounded, physical football team. And their defense just wore down. I don't want to say wore down. They dominated the Chicago Bear offense. It wasn't a wear down. What happened is the Bears defense instead got wore down on the other side because they were out on the field every fourth play, basically. But it all stemmed from that New Orleans defense. You know, I never at one point thought really the Saints were in danger in this football game. Even when Cordero Patterson had the or the kick return for the touchdown, and I think that gave it made it 9-7, and the Bears went up 10-9 at one point. The way the Saints are running the ball, playing defense, Teddy Bridgewater taking care of the football, it is special. And then their defense causing fumbles, as you're seeing if you're watching on TV right now, with David Montgomery fumbling. Anthony Miller, the wide receiver, at one point caught a ball and took a hard hit, and he fumbled, getting a sack here. They're a phenomenal team, let alone the Bears offense sucks, okay? And there's no other way I could say it. They can't pass block. They can't run block. The quarterback's not playing well, and the offensive game plans aren't good.
Dennis Allen's going to mess around and get himself head coaching consideration. He was in Oakland, and really, who has been successful in Oakland in the past however many years?
Right.
So I think that this Saints defense needs to be taken seriously. They still continue to put the game plans together necessary to score the points that they need. And the final score of this game, not nearly as indicative of what a butt whooping it was. It was some garbage time touchdown scored by the Bears.
Right.
So the Saints moved to 6-1, and they're still waiting for Drew Brees to come back. He wants to come back next week. I was told a few weeks ago the Cardinals game is the target, but they got the Cardinals then a bye week, and everything's going so well. Why rush him back?
Just wait till after the bye week, yeah.
All right, my first one, and I got to give credit to Michael David Smith. He has invented a new statistic. I mentioned to it.
I saw it earlier.
Yeah. You liked it.
I like it.
You're the guy that's invented the new defensive statistic, the F up the play.
Right.
MDS has what he calls the double triple, and it's amazing to me because you would think that this happens with some frequency, and it really doesn't, where someone has 100 or more yards in any statistical category. It can be passing and rushing. It can be rushing and receiving. It can be return yardage, right? Anything where you get triple digits in any stat in two different categories in the same game. Lamar Jackson, in just a season and less than a half, has 4 of them. 100-plus yards passing, 100-plus yards rushing for him. That ties him for second place all time. In only a season and a half, he's tied with Russell Wilson, Walter Payton, Dante Hall, great kick returner back in the decade and a half ago.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
The human joystick.
Yep.
And some guy named Gary Ballman has 4 of them. The leader is Michael Vick with 8. But Lamar Jackson's already halfway there in a season and a half. He's going to sail right by Mike Vick. It's just an amazing performance, amazing accomplishment for a guy who says he hates running. Well, he's getting it done. And he had another big day running the football yesterday, and they went to Seattle, and they beat the Seahawks at a time when, and Big Cat said this Friday, maybe the Ravens felt a little fraudulent. Maybe that 4-2 record wasn't as honest of a reflection of what the team really is.
Yep.
To go to Seattle and win against a team that was firing on all cylinders and to really kind of out Russell Wilson in Russell Wilson's own building, it was pretty impressive for Lamar Jackson.
It was impressive.
He's in that MVP discussion now, too.
He is. He should be. I mean, for what he's doing for that team. I mean, the MVP, I mean, their offense, they're running, and the talent they have on the offensive side of the ball doesn't work unless you got Lamar Jackson. And then, really, to me, one of the big moments, and this is, you're watching this 4th and 2 touchdown. This was a huge changing point of the game because Seattle missed a long field goal. It gave the Ravens the short field, and they went off the field on 3rd down, and Lamar Jackson showed some real fire. Like, I've never seen him be like that. He was yelling at John Harbaugh, like, go for it. And John Harbaugh changed his damn mind, called a timeout, and they went for it. And they scored a touchdown, and the game was really over from that point. But the Ravens, they're not going to win a lot of games sexy because their defense, they run the ball. That's the way they play. But either way, he was phenomenal.
One last thing about the double-triple.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey's got 1.
Right.
You would think he had more. Marshall Faulk and Roger Craig, the only guys who had 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving or more in a season, 0 for each. They never did the double-triple.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a fascinating stat.
It is.
Kudos
I like
to MDS
it.
for coming up
way
with
to go, MDS. Yep, we'll get that. And my what am I going to call mine? The FUP? F-U-P?
Just be careful.
The FUP. Yeah,
just be careful.
All right,
please.
I won't say it anymore. Okay, here we go. Welcome to Hollywood award goes to Jalen Ramsey. Welcome to this land of the stars and the Hollywood Hills. Jalen Ramsey. I mean, Jalen Ramsey doesn't play football for 3 weeks because he had a backiotomy, okay? And either way, he looked very healthy on Sunday, and his presence was felt really from get-go in that football game. The Rams dominated the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons stink. We know that. But the Rams defense dominated the Falcons offense where Matt Ryan was under duress. But the big thing is Jalen Ramsey, after not playing 3 weeks, just go over there and cover one of the freakiest guys we've seen in the history of the NFL. His name's Julio Jones. No problem. Then you talk about, like, the attitude he brings to your team. Look at this. I mean, putting a hit on Devontae Freeman, making him fumble. That's what's special about Jalen Ramsey. He's one of the most physical corners we've seen. He really plays the position almost like a safety. But then the ability to bump and run Julio Jones, be all over him. He's just a special, special player. And the Rams of course, got back on track after a rough few weeks. Looked good yesterday. Gurley had the touchdown catch. I'm not giving up on the Rams. You know, the Rams are still a team that I think is still very, very dangerous in the NFC. Just again, they missed not an easy, but a definitely makeable game-winning field goal against the Seahawks up there. You know, the game's 7-7 against the 49ers, and it's 3rd and goal at the 1-foot line, and they don't get in on 3rd and 4th. So they're still a quality football team. I think they reminded us of that yesterday, and they're going to be more quality with number 20 at corner playing shutdown, and now Wade Phillips can have fun with the rest of the guys.
It was the ultimate get-right game, though, for the Rams against a Falcons team that is just a shell of what it was only 3 years ago when they won the NFC and were up 28-3 in the Super Bowl. But this is supposed to be about the good, not the bad, but I just can't figure out where the Falcons are going to see a shot of the stadium in the second half. Nobody
was there. Yes.
And why would you go? Why would you go watch that team play?
Right.
But the Rams they're 4-3 now. With the Seahawks losing, they've narrowed that gap a little bit, and then they're in that spot in their schedule where they can start to rack up some wins.
Yep.
And they made the bold move for Jalen Ramsey. Who knows how it's going to play out over the long haul? But at least for now, they started to move in the right direction. They got the Bengals in London coming up this week. So kudos to the Rams so far for ending that losing streak and getting themselves pointed in the right direction again. All right, for me, this is the if we didn't have bad luck, we'd have no luck at all award because they have no luck, but they had some good luck yesterday in the Indianapolis Colts, right?
Yes.
And look, this was a huge game for the Colts. They were coming off of their bye. We kind of forgotten about the Colts. They beat the Chiefs, and we forgot about them.
Yeah, because Houston beat the Chiefs, and we were like, oh, yeah, Houston.
The Texans,
yeah.
But this is the AFC South Championship round, game 1. One of these two teams is winning that division. The Jaguars are they're 3-4 and they're still lurking, but I feel like it's going to come down to the Texans and the Colts. And they did what they had to do. And we talked about this last night on Football Night in America when the Texans had that 4th down play and they tried to go back to the same well they went back to last week with the inside slant to DeAndre Hopkins, just from the other side of the formation.
Right.
They moved him to the left side instead of the right side. And Darius Leonard told me, you take away their best player.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
what you do. That's what the coaches told him to do. And, the defensive coaching in key moments. It's not like they shut them down.
No, but
in key moments of work. But they did get a little bit of good luck.
Yeah.
That Deshaun Watson play where he was in the grass,
Sure.
that was a little bit of a quick whistle.
That was.
Or maybe things would have been a little different.
For guys like Deshaun Watson. But, Mike, I think you hit the nail on the head. The defense was the difference in this football game with some of their stops, and especially early on. If you remember early on, the Texans got the ball with 2 short fields off of turnovers by the Colts, and the Colts defense held them to field goals, where the game could have been 14-7, something like that, Houston Texans. Instead, it was 7-6, and really that was the difference of the game. The Texans scored field goals, the Colts scored touchdowns, and you looked up and it was 21-9, and the Texans were having to play catch-up football. But yeah, the Colts, we can't forget about them because they're well coached on defense. Frank Reich, I think, is one of the more creative play callers in all of football. And we saw another weapon, Pascal, in the passing game other than T.Y. Hilton. Eric Ebron's coming. We know they're going to run the ball. And, we got to make sure we keep the Colts very relevant because they are very relevant in the AFC.
All right, that wraps up the Superlative.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.